YouTube, what is up? We are back with another BP session here today. Today we're going to cover kind of the basics of tee work before a game, what I'm looking for in this tee work. Every day is kind of different with the tee work. Today we're really going to do a hip dominated day, kind of talk about some of the drills that we're doing, but I really struggle with allowing that hip to kind of drive the swing rather than, especially my old swing, there's like a lot of upper body and lunging, and I found the more that I'm able to obviously keep the connection, but focus and get those hips to drive the swing. Never played baseball where the baseball guys get that really good. I mean, they got the hips all the way through. Swinging, my hips aren't as great as that. Starting to figure it out. When I was a shot putter, I kind of had the same issue. I kind of got into the habit of throwing with my upper body and not letting that lower body kind of drive the engine. Obviously, the lower body's always kind of going, but I kind of turned it into a lunge to get that momentum. So instead of using that rotational power of the hip and then driving through and then making it linear, my swing was always just drive through and my hip would always stay back. So it'd almost be like I was creating forward momentum, but the hip would always be closed, even on the swing. It was kind of a little bit of a disconnect. So I've liked these drills with the tee to kind of allow those hips to get through. Today we are going to swing the Anarchy with ASA bats, a couple weighted bats. So we got a handle load Speed Trainer 37.4, a Speed Trainer with a 24-ounce bat, and then the short barrel bat we will use today, and a long barrel bat, and then our BP specialty, the Juno. This thing, I've been trying to break this thing for like 3 years now. This thing is an absolute freaking tank. There's no way it passes compression right now. I didn't love the weight of it. It feels like too much of a hammer for me to control my swing, and I've grown accustomed to this bat just because I've gotten so many swings with it. It is piss hot, but it will not break. This thing has been an absolute tank through like years and years and years of BP. So if you need a BP bat, this Juno, I think it's like the Californication Juno. I don't even know if they have them anymore. Absolute money BP bats, and if you like the weight of it, it's an absolute, I mean, it's a fire stick. I just don't love the weight of it. But anyways, we're gonna go BP. We're gonna do tee drills before this BP session, before our league night. I kind of like treating league nights just as training days. I know everybody doesn't have as much time as I do when it comes to softball, but I like to get to the field like hour and a half, 2 hours early, and just treat it as my training day, and I'll use it as kind of the warm-up. So this is before league night on a Wednesday night. We'll do this, all of these sessions before league night, treat it as a training day, and then get after it. But until further ado, let's rip it. All right, so this first drill is one of my personal favorites for getting the hips through. It's an open, closed, balanced swing. So you do an open stance, a middle stance, and a closed stance, taking no stride, just forcing that hip through, really loading up and really exploding through that back hip. I have issues, again, with getting that back hip through and just delaying just a little bit longer and really getting into that load. I like to rush that load. This drill is really nice for me to feel that load before a full BP session. We like the short bat here just to be able to get some strength work in. From there, we're going to the long bat hook'ems. Again, this is a really nice drill for me to just sort of delay that explosion and feel that sit into the coil, not rush out into front. You see Kyle Pearson do a really, really nice job with this load with his big stride and step. I've messed around with using his step. I think it's a little over-exaggerated for me, but I can definitely see why he uses that step. The hook'em is really nice too. Pause, delay, feel that load, then explode through with that back hip. And the long bat really forces you to get those hips through, otherwise you get bodied if you're just swinging with your hands. Then we got one of my personal favorite drills, which is the step back drill. I like this drill because it's kind of a combination of that hook'em and the no stride drill, and it's a little bit more realistic. So it's kind of the middle ground between all of these drills. You have to step back, load, explode through. It keeps you from getting way too far out in front of the ball, but still feeling that load, and you're still getting that stride. I like this one if I'm falling off in BP and I feel like I'm way ahead of the ball. I'll step back and do a couple step back, load, and then explode, but it's not too far off from the real swing like some of the stride drills. I like the stride drills to feel that hip right away, but as I get closer to my real swing, I want it to be more realistic, right? Like, I think all these drills are great, but if it doesn't apply to your real swing, it doesn't really help you a ton. And that's why I like the step back drill, because you're still striding, you're still loading, you're still swinging like normal. It's just a little bit of a middle ground emphasis on that loaded hip. Then we wrap up every drill session with some bat speed drills. I treat it kind of like a strength training session. I talked about the importance of bat speed in the previous video, but we're using a 37-ounce bat and a 24-ounce bat here. The red one's the 37. The blue one coming up is the 24-ounce one. I think this gets you primed for some big swings when you get to your real bat, and it gets you all amped up to hit the ball fast and hard, and it also forces the hip through. That Happy Gilmore really forces you to get those hips through and kind of explode through the ball. Then we get to some real game bat swings here, and today we're working on line-to-line cut swings, right? So we're working push line or right field, and then pull line or left field, cutting the ball. Cutting the ball push side isn't always my best swing, but I think it's something that as I continue to work on and develop, my regular push swing gets better as my cut swing happens, right? So I'm thinking cut the ball push side all the time, and if I dip just a little bit, it gets a little bit of that loop and it's nice, but the more I can keep that ball on the line through my holes, the better. And line specifically for me is a challenging hit, and the more I'm on with my line swings, the better I am left center, right? So if I'm pinpointing on that line, pinpointing right to right field, right to left field, I'm much better on that left field line or left center, right center swing. A typical BP session for me will include like probably 40 balls to right field, 40 balls to left field in this day. And as we get tired, we'll just Judy the ball. So you'll see a couple Judies in there. That's literally just to get through the balls that I got. So I had 40 for the right, 40 to the left. I was kind of gassing out to the right, and I didn't want to just have sloppy swings. So in between my hard swings, I'll do a couple Judies, just slow things down, more goof around and have fun off the tee, and then get some solid swings and find barrel. I think back control is really important. I think the skill set of a Judy in a game probably isn't the number one swing you're going to go to, but having it in your toolbox and just having the ability to put barrel on ball and put the ball where you want to, like an artist, paint the lines like an artist, I think is something that not a lot of softball players work on, and I think it's super valuable. When we get to our pull side swings here, again, we're just trying to crush that third base line to left field line here. Keep the ball in play, rip it over that third baseman, sit it right down on that line. This is one of my least favorite swings in a game. I am not very good at this swing. Typically, this ends up being a home run, and even here, the elevation is probably just a little bit too much. I mean, these would be sweet swings in a game if I can get it down the line, but typically, if I like tee, I would want this to be just a little bit more on the line, just because it is a much easier to swing. That one was pretty good right there. That was one of my favorite swings of the day right there. These are kind of looping in, but I really want to hit that left field line right at the fence or right in between, put it right over that third baseman. I'm much better left center or power to center. When I try to yank the ball down the line, typically I'll kind of fall apart. If they're playing push side on me, my swing has been the 5-6 hole, which I like a lot better than just right down the line, but it's definitely something that I'm working on, and once you get it down, it is the most satisfying swing in the game. And that was pretty much that full BP session. We went to league night that night and was ripping the ball. We had 3 home runs. We only got out once. It was a perfect primer for league. A little bit gassed during league. Like obviously, like we weren't hitting the ball 500 feet because we took, I think, 120 swings during that BP session. But again, I like using league night as one of our training days as a stimulus for the tournaments, which is our ultimate goal. Here are a couple swings from today, just live BP sessions, getting the ball up and over, and hopefully you guys enjoy this content. Let's do it. Keep chopping wood.